Dolphins make their second selection in the NFL draft. This one coming at pick 55. Patrick Paul, the offensive tackle from Houston, is the pick. No trade ups, no trade downs. Chris Grier and company stay put at their registered spot and make a pick. Now, I was a little negative of the first round selection yesterday in Chop Robinson. I am going to be the absolute opposite with this pick. I love Patrick Paul. He was actually the first offensive tackle taken in round 2. A lot of defensive players, a lot of wide receivers on the interior as well. So they take an offensive tackle. Paul, he's got a massive frame to him, man. 6'7", 331 pounds. And shout out to our guy, Tom Downey. This was the 55th overall pick. He had Paul as his 56th overall prospect. And I concur with Downey. I think he is a fantastic player. And a lot of people might be a little negative on this selection. And I get it. Listen, you have Teron Armstead. You have Austin Jackson. You do not need an offensive tackle right now. I wanted Graham Barton yesterday with pick 21 because I wanted an offensive lineman that can start right away on the interior, replacing Robert Hunt, but also kick out and replace Armstead in a year if he retires or leaves at that left tackle spot. Well, they didn't do that. So they go the defensive line in round 1, but they find Armstead's replacement potentially with Paul. And sure, is it a little disappointing that that right guard spot is still vacant right now for Miami? Yes, but Paul, a very high upside guy who is going to get to learn behind Armstead, learn behind Austin Jackson, be your swing tackle in year 1 just in case Armstead misses some time, which he does quite often, or if Austin Jackson gets hurt, Paul can fill in on either left or right side of the offensive line, and then like I keep on mentioning, if Armstead retires or the Dolphins move on from him, Patrick Paul is going to be that long-term replacement at left tackle. We're going to talk more about Paul and what Miami can do later in this draft as well as what they did yesterday. But grade this pick of Patrick Paul. A, B, C, D, or F. We will have my final grade on it later tonight in case another move gets made by Chris Grier and the Dolphins. But I'm going to tell you right now, this one's going to be much higher than the grade I gave Chop Robinson yesterday. All right, let's break down more on Patrick Paul because he is an athlete too. And the part that I really like, and if you want anything stressed to more from me right now, it's this. He improved every single year he played. He was a 3-year starter at Houston. And the part that really impressed me personally was, if you remember and you follow college football and conference realignment, well, he was in not a non-Power 5 school for his first 2 seasons at Houston, right? They weren't in a Power 5. This past year, he jumped, and Houston as a program went to the Big 12. So that means you're playing better players, better prospects, higher recruits, and he did not give up an inch. He still put up a PFF grade that was above an 80 overall. And I know that PFF is not the gospel, but it is the best thing we have at tracking offensive linemen. When you mix his athletic profile with what he did going to the Big 12, I am a big fan of this pick. He could use some work. Let's not act like he's a perfect prospect. He's very raw, and he can get better. But the ability for him to learn behind the veterans of Austin Jackson and Armstead, be a sponge, be in that building, not have the pressure of protecting Tua Tagovailoa right away, I think is going to be very, very big for him going forward in his career. Listen, this is the only pick, at least as of right now, Miami is going to make in the second day of the NFL draft. They could trade up. Maybe they do, and we're back breaking down another selection. But if not, we are going to be live tomorrow on day 3 for the Dolphins picks in round 5 and round 6. So subscribe, turn on the notifications, because we will have you covered with everything surrounding the NFL draft with the Miami Dolphins. We are also sponsored by Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the market. And if you are in the business of going to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, this is the #1 place for you. Last minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. There is nothing more frustrating than spending time searching for the best ticket prices, which is why you need to give Game Time a shot. They have flash deals, zone deals, and the lowest price guaranteed. So if you're trying to catch a game, concert, or any other event in your local area last second, download Game Time and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. You see it on screen right now, whether it is a Marlins game, whether it is a game in the fall to see these new Miami Dolphins players play in the preseason or in the regular season. You will have the best price guaranteed, but you also get to see where your seat is located. Not every ticketing app shows you exactly where the seat you're purchasing is going to have you on the field. You don't want to be blindsided and be behind a pole or something. You can't watch the game. They will show your exact vantage point, and you can get $20 off your first purchase when you go download the app today and use code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, to get $20 off. Once again, terms apply, but create an account when you download the app. Game Time, you see the logo on the app right there, the black box with the white G, and use code CHATSPORTS when you download that account. One more time, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download it today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, I want to continue the conversation on Patrick Paul because his athletic profile is fantastic. He's an absolute mauler. That's one thing that he needed to improve on going to the Big 12. He was not labeled as someone who could finish his blocking assignments and really run through you and make it nasty. But Paul really improved on that as he made the leap to the Big 12. Dane Brugler, the athletics draft expert, had this to say on Paul as a prospect. Has the hand size and length to keep defenders occupied, but his rhythm breaks down quickly, and his opponents can find success until he improves the recovery technique and hand usage. Has the tools to develop into a functional NFL starter, and grade him as the 59th overall prospect and a second to third round guy. So once again, just like Tom Downey, our draft expert here at Chat Sports, he goes in that range of 59, 56, ultimately here at 55. So one thing that Chris Grier clearly wanted to address in this draft was the trenches. I thought it was going to be on the interior with defensive tackle and interior offensive line, but evidently they go on the perimeter with Chop Robinson at edge and Patrick Paul at offensive tackle. Now, I know a lot of people are going to come up here and say they should have addressed the defensive line instead of the offensive tackle spot because that's a future need, and this Dolphins team needs to win now with Tua not being paid a big-time deal yet. And I do understand those concerns and those complaints. But you have two offensive tackles that are very, very injury-prone, and Tua needs to be protected, and you just have more insurance for your franchise quarterback that he could sit in the pocket and make some throws. And if you're going to be one of those people that complain about the defensive line as well, not finding the Christian Wilkins replacement, I get that as well. But the run on defensive tackles was incredible. You saw the Clemson DT go in the early parts with the Atlanta Falcons trading up. You saw Braden Fisk go early with the Rams trading up. You saw Jerzon Newton going in the first 5 or 6 picks of the second round. A lot of these guys that I wanted Miami to take at that interior defensive line position were off the board early. The one guy that I could have maybe made an argument for Miami taking here at 55 was Brandon Dorlus, the D lineman out of Oregon, who I actually had going to the Dolphins at 55 in my final mock draft on Wednesday. Evidently, they do not go defense. They go offense to shore up that offensive line, get some depth. And I do like the selection of Patrick Paul. Don't get it twisted. Even though he's not going to be an impact player year one, in all likelihood, regarding a massive injury, this is going to be a good pick for the future of this franchise. Who's next, though? Who do you want the Dolphins to draft on day 3? Dolphins have 4 picks as it currently stands. 1 in the 5th round, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th to finish it out. Let me know some prospects you hope slide to day 3 for Miami to pick, and I'll see you on the next video. Go Fins.